morning, everybody. I think we should just start now. I can see some of our speakers already here. While we wait for others to join in, please, we can just start. Happy International Women's Day. Today, we are celebrating the International Women's Day, though it was celebrated on the 8th of March. Or we are celebrating as from Educare magazine. And I want to actually welcome every one of us here this morning. I can see Antonia Atebe. I can see other speakers here. I can see Mariam Mohammed. You're welcome. All the way from Kaduna, Mariam Mohammed, you're welcome. Antonia, all the way from Abuja, you're welcome. We are still waiting for others to join us. I just want to do a little introduction of who we are, who Educare magazine is, and what Educare magazine does. I want to introduce myself again. My name is Dr. Mrs. Orevan. I am the research specialist and CEO for Educare magazine and Natap and David Consulting Nigeria Limited. So I just want to share my slide on who Educare is so that we take it from there. If you just give me a second to do that, I will just share it to just let us know who Educare is. Educare magazine is actually a youth a magazine for youths, a magazine for those who are seeking to actually be educated, both boys and girls. So it's a youth and education targeted publication, and is focusing on lightening and elaborating the African education system. It also explores discussions and insight for ensuring growth and development of the African education system and the African youth. This career magazine is packed with reports, interactive counseling, seminars, conferences. It's a magazine every student standing at the crossroad of life, serving as a light of hope for students caught in dilemma. Educare is akin to a compass in hands of parents who want to guide their children towards the right path. For students who are ambitious, career conscious, and on the lookout for information that can give a clear direction to their careers, Educare is the right choice. The essence of Educare is beyond imagination. The world is swarming with opportunities, yet the youth flounder. The reason is simple. They do not have access to information to help them realize their ambition. The result, at times, is tragic, as they end up compromising. Oftentimes, career choices of children are altered by the demand and choice of parents because they have not been able to get over the "my child has to be a doctor" or an architect fixation. So Educare is available to give a guide. You can visit our website, www.educaremagazine.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Educare Magazine. Thank you so much. With this little introduction to who Educare is, I want to also do an introduction of our guests today. Like I said, we have a lot of them here today. We have a lot of speakers today, and I'm going to start to call on them one after the other. Now, I just want to make an introduction also to this celebration, the International Women's Day celebration. And this introduction I want to make is a write-up by Laurie S. Ashford. And this is what he said. He said, the right to education for all has been an international goal for decades. But since the 1990s, women's education and empowerment have come into shape sharp focus. The Millennium Development Goals agreed by world leaders at the UN Millennium Summit in 2000 call for universal primary education and for closing the gender gap in secondary and higher education. These high-level agreements spawned initiatives around the world to increase girls' school enrollments. Changes since 1990 have been remarkable, considering the barriers that had to be overcome in developing countries. In many traditional societies, girls are prevented from attaining their full potential because of lower priority placed on educating daughters who marry and leave the family, and the lower status of girls and women in general. Families may also have concerns about the school fees, girls being taught by male teachers and girls' safety away from home. Governments and communities have begun to break down these barriers. However, because of overwhelming evidence of the benefits of educating girls, for few investments have also as large a payoff as girls' education. Household surveys in developing countries have consistently shown that women with more education have smaller, healthier, and better educated families. The linkages are clear. Educated women are more likely to take care of their health, desire for fewer children, and educate them well, which in turn makes it more likely their children will survive and thrive in adulthood. Research by the World Bank and other organizations have shown that increasing girls' schooling boosts women's wages and leads to faster economic growth than educating only boys. However, when women earn money, they are more likely to invest in it in their children and households, enhancing family wealth and well-being. Other benefits of women education captured in studies include lower levels of HIV infection, domestic violence, and harmful practices toward women, such as female genital cutting and bride burning. This is from Laurie S. Ashford, a freelance consultant. He wrote this when he was writing about population health and women's issue for 20 years. Thank you so much. And at this point, I want to welcome Dr. Mrs. Oyetola from the Ministry of Education to give us the keynote address by the Commissioner of Education, Lagos State, Honorable Folashade Adefisayo.
I'll deliver a keynote address by the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Lagos State, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo, in commemoration of year 2022 International Women's Day, today, 10th March 2022. I am delighted to be in your midst this morning as the world celebrates year 2022 International Women's Day. I equally congratulate in a special way Educare for aligning with the theme for the United Nations observance of International Women's Day, which borders on gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. The year 2022 celebration is pivotal for the achievement of gender equality in the context of climate change, environmental and disaster risk reduction, which are some of the greatest global challenges of the 21st century. It must be stressed that without gender equality today, a sustainable future remains a mirage. In the same spirit, this edition of International Women's Day commemoration is in recognition of the women and girls who are leading voices on climate change adaptation towards a sustainable future. At this junction, I commend women and girls who have been effective and powerful leaders and change makers for climate adaptation and mitigation, rape cases, ritual killings, abductions, insurgency, and other social vices that stare us in the face. Therefore, conscious effort should be made to continually empower women and girls in order for them to have a voice and be equal players in decision making, in government and governance, as this will foster development and reawaken greater gender equality in Nigeria and in the world at large. I will conclude this short address with a call on everyone to share and support the vision of equality between both genders with the following lines. Imagine a gender equal world. Let us imagine a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination. A world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive. A world where differences are valued and celebrated. Together as women, we can forge women's equality. Collectively as women, we can all break discrimination, celebrate women's achievements, raise awareness against preconceived ideas. And as women, let us take action for equality. The time is now for women to be in the driver's seat in this country and indeed all around the globe. This is the time for us as women to support the legislation on the women's rights in Nigeria. I want to wish us once again a happy International Women's Day celebration and thank you for your time. Folashade Adefisayo, Honorable Commissioner for Education, Lagos State.
We are celebrating women in education today, and the theme we are looking at is gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. Okay, Mariam.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies. Happy International Women's Day. I was supposed to be joining in from Kaduna, but I had something urgent to see to, and so I'm not in Kaduna today. But I'm sending warm wishes from Kaduna International School, where we have, half of our members or half of our team members are women, and they have been striving all through. So I had wanted to make a speech about how relevant the contribution of women is to education, and how most times, people say to women, oh, just start teaching, it's just going to give you more time for your family, and they sort of, underestimate the demands and the profession and the professionalism therein. So I would like to celebrate women in this profession. I would like to congratulate them. I would like to tell them to have more grease in their elbows so that they continue to do this good work. And this work is a very, very professional one, educating the future, educating Nigeria, and role modeling for other young ladies to come through. So congratulations again, Educare, for this celebration and this program. I thank you very much.
It's so unfortunate. This is the country we live in. And if you ask me, I would have said, if women can be given the chance to rule this nation, I think it would be a better one. And we will have.
Indeed. Maybe it's coming soon.
Women are more concerned about a lot of things. Men, we will not. With men, we will not have this issue. With women, we will not have this issue. But with men, let me just hold it there. Okay, thank you so much, Mariam. Let me just say a little bit, let me just give a little profile about Antonia. Antonia Eniworobo, I hope I got that right, Atebe, had her primary school education at Hope Children's School, Lagos. She proceeded to the Federal Government Girls College, Yola, where she graduated with the West African Certificate in 1988. After her secondary school, she was offered a provisional admission at Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, where she graduated with a higher national diploma in textile design in 1996. She subsequently obtained a postgraduate diploma in education and a master in educational planning, respectively. Similarly, in 1998, she became a part-time art teacher at Federal Government College in Ilorin. She was converted to a permanent art teacher in the year 2000, and she worked as FGC Ilorin between 2000 to 2014. At FGC Ilorin, she championed the girl education movement, which culminated in the establishment of the Girl Education Club, which is still functioning till date. Between 2014 to 2019, she became an art teacher at Federal Government Boys College, Abuja. There was a transition from public school to private school in 2020 when she was appointed the vice principal academic of British Nigeria Academy, Abuja. In 2021, she was promoted and appointed as the principal British Nigerian Academy, Abuja, making her the first Black woman to hold the prestigious post in the history of the school. She was the FGGC Yola Alumni Caretaker Committee chairperson and spearheaded the FGGC Yola Old Girls Association as she played a fundamental role in the membership of the Constitution Review Committee. Her passion for education and educating the girl child is a driving force in her pursuit of excellence. She's blessed with lovely children. So, Anthony, are you ready to speak to us? Okay, we also have Mrs. Jidere Musa Kaibo. I want to just tell us who she is. Mrs. Jidere Musa Kaibo, the National Chair Forum for African Women Educationists in Nigeria, called FAWE. Mrs. Jidere Musa Kaibo attended so many Army children's schools, being a child of a soldier. Command Secondary School, Kaduna. She holds a degree in education and community development from the University of Maiduguri. And she has also a master's in education in educational administration and planning from University of Jos, and pursuing a PhD in the University of Abuja. She is a chief lecturer and dean, School for Adults, Non-Formal and Special Education, Federal College of Education, Yola, Adamawa State, Nigeria. She has been National Chair, Forum for African Women Educationists, FAWE, Nigeria, since 2018. FAWE is an international organization formed by all African ministers of education existing in 34 African countries, with its regional secretariat in Cairo, Adamawa State. She's also the Nigerian Institute of Management, Adamawa Charter. In Adamawa State also, she's the chair high-level women advocates, a UNICEF strategy put in place. To advocate for education issues for girls' education, which includes but not limited to health, education access, retention, completion, and quality, community mobilization and sensitization. She has 13 international and 5 national researches with DFID, TDP, EDOREN, UIN of Sussex, UNFPA, ADSUBEB, and NCCE. She also has 47 journal publications, 47 conference papers, 7 book chapters, and conducted several trainings for teachers at basic education and SBMC members at state and national level. Mrs. Kaibo is married to Musa Kaibo, the former head of service at Adamawa State, and she has 5 lovely daughters. And I'm also glad to say that she's also a grandmom. Mrs. Kaibo, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. So we are looking at the girl child education, and you have been an advocate for years. You know, all these journals, I wish I would have all of them, please. I would need to have them because I couldn't just imagine sitting down to read so many journals and publications. It's awesome, and the work you've been doing. And I want to thank you for honoring this invitation. I'm so happy about that, and welcome. Like you know, we are looking at the girl child. We are looking at gender equality for sustainable tomorrow. We are looking at our tomorrow for our girl children, at the girl child. And thank God, woman, that you have been doing so well, so much on this. Please, can we share with you your experiences and what you have to say within this team, gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you, Educare. I wonder how you found me. In my
we have a way of finding you people.
I was shocked actually when I got the invite. Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that that Educare is doing a wonderful job, and I'm very proud to be invited on this very auspicious day to share with us what we've been doing in Fawe, what my opinions are about some of the issues on gender equality. Let me start by saying that gender equality is a right. It is a human. Gender equality and empowerment of women, like we all know, is one of the 17 SDGs. And it is actually integral to all dimensions of inclusive and sustainable development. So for me, SDG depends on the achievement of Goal 5. That is, achieve gender equality and empower women and children. So I believe that, for me, I've always argued that all other SDG goals depends on the achievement of Goal 5, because it is about accelerating multifaceted development. So it is a concern for all of us. Achieving gender equality is in the interest of everyone. So we need to support women in decision making that will benefit our health and our. You understand why I'm saying that all other goals, achieving other goals, depend on the achievement of Goal 5. It is a fact that no society can develop economically, politically, or socially when half of its population is marginalized. They all argue because everybody believes that there are more women in this world than men. So if there are more women than men, and this group of people that we're saying are marginalized, are not allowed to speak, are not allowed to voice out, are not allowed to participate. Okay, so if we're saying that this large population, which we all claim with sensors and all sorts of data, that there are more women than men, and this group of persons that you're saying are marginalized, I don't know how we can be talking about a sustainable development when they are not allowed to participate. So gender equality and sustainable development, as far as I'm concerned, are inseparable. The fact is that the implication of not providing women and girls equal voices, choices, opportunities affect not just the women's lives, but the future of the whole world, the whole planet, believe me. Because evidences abound and reports have revealed that progress is slow and uneven. So that is, and believe me, no one is honestly asking why. Because if people are asking why, and people are providing honest answers, then we shouldn't be where we are. We shouldn't be talking about these things by now. We all know that United Nations, from reports I have read, the United Nations data show that 19% of women between 15 and 49 years have suffered physical or even sexual violence, or both, in the hands of partners or people close to them. Married women suffer same, either in marriages or unions, and do not even have the free hand to make their own decisions about sexual relationship, contraceptives, and good health. People were celebrating IWD, that is the International Women's Day, on the 8th. I was sober. I was very upset that I did not even say a word on that day. Why? Because of what the National Assembly did. People were jumping on the streets and showing placards and so on. And I was wondering, why are we saying that? Shouldn't we be taking decisive actions? Shouldn't we say we are not going to vote for any man? Shouldn't we be taking drastic actions? Shouldn't we be making statements that will shake Nigeria? Because nobody will be in the House of Assembly if the women do not vote. I tell you, I believe so, that nobody will be in the House. No man will be there. And if the women want all women in the House of Assembly, believe me, women will be there. We will occupy all the seats. So what are we saying? What are we saying? We need to take action. We need to take action, my dear sisters. So investing in girls and women for tomorrow requires breaking of these systemic barriers of power and privileges that have continued to leave women behind and excluded. Women possess ideas and leadership potentials. Women and girls must be able to live free of violence and discrimination. But how will tomorrow be has always been my question. How will tomorrow be? Tomorrow of my grandmother, tomorrow of my mother, hopefully tomorrow for my grandchildren. These are things that we should not allow to continue. Our tomorrow should start now. When our legislators are rejecting 35% legislative, they have 65%. Why the worry about 35% for legislative seats for women, as well as 35 reservation for political party leadership for women? This does not say well about Nigeria's march towards gender equality and general progress. Rather, I want to say that it is a symptomatic, a deeply conservative society that we must break. And every year we celebrate this day, and we keep saying it is a day for social, cultural, economic, and political achievement of women. Yet it is also a day for community mobilization support in and through institutions, through advocacy campaigns. We will continue to use this. We will continue to say these things, to say end all forms of discrimination against women. I always ask the question, how? Eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls in public and private sector. How? Eliminate the trafficking of girls for sexual exploits. How? Elimination of all helpful practices. How? Recognize and value unpaid care. How? We should be able to provide the how. We shouldn't join them. We shouldn't join all these things year in, year out. We should be able to come out to say how. Ensure women's full effective participation and equal opportunities. Here the house is. Then how are we going to break this bias? How are we breaking it? Enhance how? Providing sex disaggregated data. Adopt and strengthen sound policies of enforceable legislation. Where? How? Here are they. As much as the strategies we've always used and listed above are humane and have achieved some appreciable progress, we will continue to use this. However, there's a need for us to take decisive action, like I've said earlier, and that we must break the bias. No one must be left behind, my dear sisters and brothers. We must work as a team, and my team means everyone achieves more. That allows common people, humans, achieve uncommon imaginable results. Better tomorrow is achievable when all human rights, including gender equality, are protected, respected, and fulfilled. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to commend individuals and organizations that are moving in vigorously and talking against disadvantageous social norms that continue to leave women behind. My take home for all of us is how to break the barriers. Not stop at lamenting on the, but how do we break these barriers? When people complain, tell them to provide solutions. Anybody in the House of Assembly that does not support the 35 affirmative action on all the gender equality issues tabled before the House of Assembly should not be voted in, should not come back to the House of Assembly, and they should tell us why they are not. We don't have to push for these things to happen. They should happen naturally. But at the same time, I would like to call on women that you are not giving power on a platter of gold. Nobody gives you. You take it. And I believe that if we all come together, we will take it, we will accomplish, and we will get to where we want to get to. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say a word. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kaibo. When you were asking everything, you were asking how. And for me, I think that is the reason why we have these celebrations each day. And it seems from what you're saying, it seems that we are not actually giving solutions to all the questions. Women should be this, how? Women should be that, how? Women should be free, how? And that is the solutions we are asking for. And honestly, Mrs. Kaibo, I was thinking you were going to give us about five answers to the hows that you have asked. How do we how do we do this? How do we do that? How do we break the bias? How do we free women from some of the ridicules we find ourselves in the society, in the workplace, even at the legislative floor and all that? And well, I think we'll still come back to you because I know that you must have a help. So we shouldn't just celebrate this day and make the fun fair and do the hashtags and break the bias, breaking the bias with our mouths and not do nothing. And I want to tell you that Mrs. Kaibo, why I found out is that I was looking at a lot of people who are doing so many things about the girl child in education. And that is why I found out that you have been doing so much for the community, for your community in Adamawa, for, the place you live in, to make sure that the girl child is not just given to one old man to get married to, but must be educated. And I must tell you that why they don't want this is because when the girl child is educated, I tell you, the girl child is empowered and will not accept all these horrible things like getting married, being forced into marriage, having so many children at the age of 10 and 8 and all that. And these people, they feel threatened that if women are educated, will rise up and will kick against all these things. To their own, they feel it is to their own detriment. But they forget that when you educate a woman, the whole nation is educated and is saved from a lot of ills. Well, let me just hold you there. Thank you so much. We are going to come back to you, Mrs. Kaibo. And I like the fight. I like the fight we are actually fighting to break all these powers that hold us down in every sector and in this nation and globally. Thank you so much. I'll come back to you again. And of course, when the question times come, I hope you still be available to answer some of the questions. I want to also tell everyone here that if you have a question, just put it at the chat box. It will come up later. We'll bring those questions up later, please. Type them down. We'll call you up to ask your questions. And when the time comes, then if you want to receive this conversation, just type your email address at the chat box. Thank you so much once again, Mrs. Kaibo. I love that. I love the simplicity of your presentation. And I can see that Mrs. Fumi Johnson is up now. I want to know if you can come up, Mrs. Fumi Johnson. Are you ready for us?
Yes, I can.
Are you ready for us?
Yes. Good morning.
Just hold on there, please. I want to do a little introduction of who Mrs. Fumilola Johnson is. She's a great woman doing so much in the education sector in terms of women empowerment and the girls empowerment. She's the founder and CEO of Whitefield Foundation. And at this point, I want to do an introduction of who she is and some of the achievements she's recorded. Yes, Mrs. Fumilola Johnson is a certified international financial corporation trainer who consults and trains SMEs in money management. She's Chief Executive Officer, Whitefield Foundation, a not-for-profit enterprise that provides support for educationally disadvantaged children in Africa. She has also been involved in several relief and empowerment initiatives, especially targeting youth and women in Nigeria. Her vision is to empower at least 1 million youth and women in Nigeria and Africa by 2024. She's an associate member in International Third World Leaders Association. Mrs. Fumi has 3 Kingdom books to her credit. Must I Submit? The Secret Black Book of Wealth and the best-selling The Secret Golden Book of Wealth for Couples. She's the convener, Couples Breakfast, an outreach that seeks to build formidable families. Her greatest passion is to see all humans
It is
walk
on
in
the lowest
dominion
of my
as God intended, regardless of gender or color.
of my
She
volume,
is the host
and
of
it's
the
still this loud.
popular weekly radio program, Family Today, with Fumi Johnson, that airs every Friday between 11:30
Zoom.
a.m. to 12 noon on
Theirs
Inspiration
must be really loud.
92.3 FM. She's blessed with 3 young adults. She's married to Tokumbo Biola Johnson, her lover for over 30 years, and is still counting. We can follow her Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, via her handle at the Fumi Johnson. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. Yes, we are looking at the girl child, empowering the women.
Okay, I know I have just a few minutes,
Yes,
but I want to say thank you to you for giving me this opportunity to share with other great women. I can see the women, the mighty women that you have lined up for this discussion. And I know that we will move forward. We will definitely advance. I will not say a lot of theoretical things. I will just go on to why we're doing what we're doing and what we intend to achieve. Gender equality is a fundamental human right. And when it is violated, it becomes something that is destructive to life. I read just yesterday, DJ Copy, the daughter of the billionaire Femi Otedola, she says she's still been underpaid and undervalued in comparison to her male counterparts. The disc jockey in an interview says she said her kind work twice as hard to get half as much done due to a system she has discovered is skewed against women. You know, there's a way we think that only the very poor are going through this. Well, all of us are. And it's high time we started looking at it that way. There are 6 areas that I've identified where we need to address inequality. Uneven access to education. I came back from Kano just because I thought this meeting was going to be in person. And we trained 2,500 plus women who would love to have a means of livelihood, who would love to be educated, but who have not been given the chance to do so. Do you know that of all illiterate people in the world, 2/3 are women? When you educate a girl at the same level as the boy, it has a huge effect. I'm going to tell you a short story of my life. My parents, my father and mother had 5 children together, 4 boys and 1 girl. I'm the only girl. The neighbor living opposite us had five boys. So I was like living amongst 9 boys, like 1 girl to 9 boys. That's how I grew up. I didn't understand gender roles because I think in the mind of God, they actually don't exist. I changed tires. I went to the mechanics. I played football. I played, table tennis. Those were the things that were available growing up. And that's the way I knew life to be. Until when I got to secondary school, and my father said to me, don't really push to go to the university because you don't need it. You're a woman. You will be pregnant and you will be a man's property. It was strange and bizarre. Don't forget, I grew up among boys. They were given the best of chances, the best of opportunities. I thought it was a joke. Until when it was time for JAM, I wouldn't be given a chance for a JAM form. In fact, I was packaged to a school of nursing, a technical college, or teachers grade 2. Those were the schools then where the tuition was free and government was still given a stipend. I was heartbroken. At 14, 15, I already was anemic. I had migraine. I had ulcer. I didn't have the will to fight my father.
Yeah.
But I knew that
Why
something
you
was
can add
wrong.
it because that's what she was.
My late mother of blessed memory, she was pained, but she didn't have a voice
Papa, it is
because
correct
women were allowed
in
to
that
be
kind of
seen and not to be heard.
more people
So
than
you're wondering why I'm passionate about what I'm doing.
exactly more people
My
than
mother
more
sneaked me
their parents used to be
away
like that.
from Ibadan. We were living in Ibadan to Abeokuta, to my grandfather, to her father, my maternal grandfather.
The truth is
You know,
about
and then I was able to,
that's
she
just
was
it.
able to package me to go to school. I couldn't make it to the university because if you didn't do JAM, you can't go in. So I went to the College of Education, still anemic, still with my migraine, still with pains in my heart. But I made up my mind. I'll find a way out. In pain and shame, I stayed in the school for 3 years, waiting for an opportunity. With the degree, with the NC, I was able to get a direct entry form to University of Lagos. By that time, I was getting bolder and bolder. I was able to get direct entry to Unilag. And when I got to the gate of that school, I said to myself, whatever is the best in this place, that's what I'm going to get. I graduated as the best graduating student in the school at that time. And I realized after 3 years, my father had given me 150 naira, but my grandfather then was giving me 10 naira every week and some extras. I said this story to say something, but for a man like my grandfather, and for a brave woman like my mom, I wouldn't be speaking to you today. That was why I made up my mind. I will do all I can to reach men and women and to let them understand the way to bridge gender discrimination is to give the woman the same platform that you give to the boy, that you give to the man. Today, my parents are both dead. I run my father's estate. He apologized before he died, though, because he realized he didn't need me to be a man to be a proper child. So I'm saying equal. There is employment inequality as well. There are some jobs that you won't give to some women. There is job segregation. We think that some jobs are better suited for men. What about lack of legal protection? I thank God for Babatunde Fashola. He was the one that started in Lagos the gender violence team and legislated some laws such that if a man beat his wife and you are able to get to that unit, they take you out of the house, they lock you up even before they start asking. If someone gives birth, the first thing you want to ask, is it a boy or a girl? If it's a boy, your laughter is 110. If it's a girl, it's about 80%. Except, of course, if she had been barren or had not had a child for like 10 years, that's when you accept. Even we women, we think that we are inferior to the man. Now, so how from my own story is this. Be like my mother. Give the girl a chance. Be like my mother. Do not separate the work in the house. Washing plates, cooking, changing tires. They are not gender-specific roles. No, they're not. Anyone can do them. Train your boys to handle household chores. It is responsible living. Those are the little ways that we can change the narrative. And then let us begin to push for companies, organizations to allow the biological difference in a woman to be accommodated in the workspace. What do I mean by that? A woman will get pregnant. She's going to have a child. She's going to have to nurse the child. Why don't we make it mandatory to have a creche? Why don't we allow for women when they have children or when they're pregnant to work remotely? COVID-19 has shown us that we can still make money working remotely. A woman is a nurturer. She naturally wants to be where our offsprings are. We can make that possible because we need to realize that if we don't do that, what most women are doing, they will nurture their children until those children get married. And when they now get married, they go back to them because they do not have a life of their own. And they go and destroy their homes because they start monitoring. Oh, how many pieces of meat? How are you treating my son? They're not supposed to be there. Or mugo, or trying to help our children take care of their babies. It's supposed to be at the call of the child. It is not your role. You are helping them. Let them decide how far you will go. A lot of mother-in-laws, they go to their son's house and they want to legislate. They don't have control over that. These are little things we need to change that would make a difference. I want to stop now so that I would not say what the other speakers have said or will be saying. But I want to shift the table a little bit. Women, we cannot take the power from the. We have to make it happen by ourselves. Empower a woman. Train a boy. Establish inequity. And then we will have a better society. Thank you.
Mrs. Johnson, thank you. I was just, in fact, I don't even know how to explain it. I was carried away by the story, and it's such a motivating story. Your story is such a motivating story because looking at you, beautiful woman, elegant. I wouldn't have thought you went through this to get where you are, and your own. And this is what we women should do. We should be able to take our own. We should be able to take our stand and take that which we ought to take that belongs to us. We shouldn't allow circumstances, the environment, family to relegate us to the background. No, we are not fighting to be the head. Because when you talk, or when people say, gender equality, somebody said, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's not correct. No, we are not saying we want to be the head. God has created men to be the head of the family, and we are helpers. We are saying, give us our right. The right you give to the boy, the opportunity you give to the boy child, give it also to the girl child. And I tell you, some of those parents that said they will not educate their female children, but the male children, they are suffering it today. They are saying, if I had known, I would have educated my female child. Now, your story is just a bit different from my mother's story. My mother she had siblings, both male and female, in those days, in the 1920s. And the father decided to train her alone. Just different, wow. It was like everybody the whole village was against my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, because the father against all us said, I want my girl child, I want my daughter in particular, to be like the Oyibos. That was the day of the missionaries and all that. And everybody fought against that. The man was head bent that he must train that lady, that girl child alone. And he took the male children to farm, another female children to farm. But I want to tell you that my mother had a voice in my village. My mother was the only female in the council of the cabinet of the ruling council in my village until the day she died. She had a voice. She was always nominated for one thing or the other. If she was not there, nothing would happen in the village. When you were telling the story, I was just remembering my mother's story. It was just an opposite of the experience my mother had. That was the grandfather's wish that the daughter would be like Oyibo. When they saw the Oyibo.
Sorry, can I just say something to that?
Yes.
It just shows us that whoever is given opportunity is the one that would have the capacity, is the one whose potential will be developed and enhanced. Yes. And I want to say something else about this notion that the man being the head means something. It does not mean what we make it to mean, because that word actually stemmed from the Bible. We need to understand that the Bible was not written in English. It was written in Greek, in Hebrew, in Aramaic. When the Bible says in Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, that it is not good for a man to be alone, I will make for him a helpmate. That word help is the Hebrew word Ezer, E-Z-E-R. It means, that word was used 21 times in the Bible. It was used 3 times to refer to woman. Then it was used 15 times to refer to God. And it was used the other, I think, few times to refer to the nations that came to help Israel. That's what Ezer means. Savior, support, standby, wait, defender. The English dictionary did not have the right etymology description of that word. And that's where even religion has further pushed the woman down into a subordinated status. So we begin to see headship as superiority. That's not what it means. If it was not good for a man to be alone, then the woman cannot be inferior to the man. The Bible says, because you brought up the head, that's what I'm saying is. It says before God, there's no male, there's no female, there's no Greek, there's no Jew. God is a spirit. And we are made in the image of God. Spirit has no gender. I don't want to keep explaining Bible here, but I want you to understand that we all have failed in describing what God had in mind from the beginning. So we should go back. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. It says, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. In the image of God created he him. That's verse 27. Male and female created he them. Verse 28. And he blessed them, both of them, at the same time. He blessed them and he said to them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the creations of my hand. So we all have missed it. The man being the head has a completely different meaning from what the English understanding of headship means. Nobody is contesting who is head, because God did not say that the man is the head and the woman is the tail. The Bible says Jesus did not take equality with God something to grasp. Even though he said the head of Christ is God, he still established that Christ and the God, Father, they are equal. We are not debating equality. God made us equal from the beginning. So we need to go back to our homes. That is why I'm the Covenant Couples Breakfast, where I train men and women to understand what it means to be headship and how a man, if he gets it right, can be even the Messiah of his home. The head serves. That's why it says you love your wife to the point where you give your life. If you understand that, you will never, in fact, you'll be careful to say I'm the head, because you know what you're saying is I'm the one ready to die first. So it's because you mentioned that, because that's where my milk flows. So, so what I'm saying is, even a lot of times, religious leaders, they have misled the community. That's why I talked about societal mindset. But because I know I'm aware there are other speakers, great speakers, like Dr. Mrs. Sarah Olubi Johnson. She is one of my great mentors. I love her and I respect her. You have a good line of speakers. So the ones coming after me, they are mightier than I am. Whose shoe latch I'm unworthy to untie. So let me stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In fact, I felt we should just continue on that line of discussion. It's inspiring, I must say. And so,
another time.
Another time we can do that. We can do that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's you just brought life to this conversation, honestly speaking. and I appreciate you for that. And thank you so much. We are saying that we should give everybody equal opportunities. Let everybody enter the ocean and swim. Everybody, both male and female. Do you know there are even some areas where boys are not given the opportunities to go to school also, not just the female, not just the girl child. There are some boys that are not allowed to go to school too, for some reasons, I don't know, best known to parents and the society or community where they live in. No woman should think of herself less. One of the things I picked from what she said is that some of us women are already thinking that we are less than who we are or who we are supposed to be. That is the orientation some of us already have. And with that orientation, we cannot go far. So when you ask them to rise up to their rights, to take up the opportunities, they are like, oh, I am the weaker vessel. I cannot do this. But we know that from today, we should be able to take our position, to take the opportunities that is presented before us and walk in it. We women are great creatures. Women are great creatures of God. And we have a lot to do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to see if I can, I hope you're not running away, because I'm sure some people were raising their hands up to ask questions when you were talking about the traffic. So I'm sure they will have a lot of questions. And those people were all men. They were all men raising up their hands to ask. I don't know, Buhari, Wisa, do you want to ask a question? Your hand has been up. Okay, I want to call on Antonia. Antonia, are you around now? Antonia?
Yeah. I'm here.
Oh, I'm happy you're able to stay looking. You see these things that they have a way of somehow try to demoralize you. Or
finally, online.
Finally, you can see my beautiful face.
Yes, finally. This thing thought we are not going to make this your speech. You make it today. So finally, you're here. Welcome. Antonia Atebe is the principal of British Academy Nigeria. British Nigerian Academy Nigeria. She's the principal there. She's I want to be a bit personal. We belong to a group. We belong to a group called USOSA, All Unity School Girls and Boys. We're in that group. We all went to the public school, which is Federal Government College. We all went to federal government colleges, and we are here today talking about educating the girl child. She went to a federal government college, girls. I also went to a federal government college. I wish I attended the federal government college, boys and girls, so that I would have been able to show my muscles that you see I can also do more than these boys. Because I remember when I was in primary school, I attended a Miss school, and the boys were always waiting for me on the road to beat me up. You know why? Because I will always take the first position. I'm proud of that. I mean, they will always wait for me to beat me up, and I was always carrying my shoulders high and say, what boys could do, I could do better. Welcome, Antonia, please. So we are welcoming Antonia to give us what she has on the girl child, on gender equality for sustainable tomorrow. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you very much, my sister from USOSA. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to also especially thank Educare magazine. I will not take this opportunity for granted. I also want to thank, I can see somebody in the house. I heard somebody's voice in the house, the person of your mic Manaji. Thank you for this platform. Well, today we are celebrating gender, we're celebrating women, we're celebrating the girl child. And with the topic, gender equality for a sustainable development. I just want to take us on a journey. And I would just like us to be attentive and listen as we go on this ride and see where we have missed it, where we can make amends, where we can make corrections, and then we all will be happy. So when we talk about gender equality, what are we talking about? The last speaker said, we are not trying to take the lead because we have all been made equal before God. That is very true. But we're talking about gender equality. We're talking about having equal rights, equal access to resources, equal access to opportunities, equal access to economic and political participation. That is what we're saying. Give us a voice. We want to be heard because we are equal. Why the discrimination? We're saying it is the fundamental right of the girl child, is the fundamental right of the woman. It is a necessary foundation for a peaceful and a prosperous, sustainable world. Gender equality is very necessary. All girls should be enrolled. They should be given equal opportunities right from the home. Right from the home. I was speaking with some ladies yesterday and I told them, I said, you know, when we talk about gender bias, it starts, the boys should not do chores. All chores are meant for girls. Girls should be the one to wash the dishes, girls should be the one to sweep, girls should be the one to wash the clothes, girls should be the ones to lay the bed. You want to kill her? And while the boy sits down and crosses his legs, what has that turned our society into today? The girl is relegated. She comes out with that in life and has that mentality of relegation, taking the back seat. I am not equal to the boy. The boy is given that opportunity to excel, while the girl is at home, not allowed to go to school. And, you know, these early marriages from the home by our parents, because they feel at the end of the day, if we educate the girl, she will still end up in a man's house. She will still end up in the kitchen. That is a very wrong notion we need to correct today. If you educate the girl child, you're educating a nation. I would like us to take a statistics about our population. What is our population like? But before we do that, I would like to ask the question. Women in politics. Once upon a time, a woman came out and said she wanted to rule this nation. Today, they are clamoring and saying we want equality. But this woman came out and said she wanted to rule. Sarah Jibril. How did that end? How did her political ambition end? She was the only one that voted for herself. So I want to pose a question. Today, from then and now, if another woman steps out to say she wants to stand the lead of our nation, are we going to have the same mindset? Are we going to sit back and say we're not going to support her? Well, that is an answer for you. You have the answer. If she's not going to win, let me give you my own view about that. She won't be the only one to vote for herself. She will have other female folk who will support, who will want to encourage and support her dream of her political ambition. So I leave that to everyone. So let's look at the statistics. In Nigeria, Nigeria accounts for 45% of all out-of-school children in West Africa. In West Africa as a whole. This is huge. Over 10 million out-of-school children. My goodness. Let us have a rethink. Girls account for 60% of Nigeria's 10 million out of school children. 60%, more than half, 60%, who are facing barriers such as early marriages, poverty, discrimination, and social norms. 60%, that is scary. That is scary. So you can imagine, we are talking about sustainable growth. The girl child. So if you educate 60% of this population of girls, what would you expect? What do you think will happen? Of course, we will have the growth. We will have that sustainable growth that we so plan for. Girls attend, co-educational institution. I went to a unity school. We have 104 unity schools in the country. Now, out of that 104 unity schools, 39 of those schools are girls-only schools. 39. Mind you, they are there. In the mixed schools of the unity schools, there are girls. We have private girls' schools all over the country. We have girls there. With that population, with that statistics, then we still have 60% out of school that are girls. So add that to the population that are in school. What do you think will happen in our nation? What do you think will happen in our nation? Statistics also shows that nearly 2 out of 3 girls are out of school. Food for thought, yeah. It's high time for us to do it ourselves. Let's not wait for government. Let's not wait for the men folk. Let's take our destinies in our hands. This is huge. Now, what do these girls engage in? If you go on social media, you will agree with me that the highest population on social media, young girls who ought to be in school. Some are out of school for various reasons. For various reasons, they are out of school. They engage in social media, and what are they doing there? They display nudity. Because that is how they feel they can earn a living. Having not been given opportunities from the home to explore and attain their full potentials, they have been relegated. They feel inferior, and they are seeking validation from the male folk by displaying nudity as a means of income. This should stop. It depends on you and I to make this happen for these young girls by educating them, by giving them proper and quality education. And you know the vices that are going all over the place today. Because they seek validation, kidnapping is on the rise. Girls are being killed. Girls are being mutilated. They are being dismembered by the male folk because they want to prove a point that they too can earn a living their own way. Look at what happened a few days ago with the girl from BRT at the BRT bus, or in the BRT bus. A young girl caught down in her prime and trying to earn a living. I'm very sure if she had the right opportunity, she would probably not be doing the kind of job she was doing. and be out at that time of the day. The Yahoo boys are also there. Girls run to them. If they are properly empowered and educated, they will not seek or look up to their male counterpart for financial help or financial sustenance. So we have a problem. What are the solutions? What are those things that actually impede the girl-child education? Violence. Take, for example, the Northeast. Closure of schools due to violence. So what happens to the girl child? What happens to the girls in the Northeast? They are now exposed into early marriages. They come from poor homes. They are out there in the streets. They are out there in the streets. And then you also look at the remote areas. How many schools are there in the remote areas? How equipped are those schools? How equipped are those schools? Do they have quality teachers that will be able to impact the right knowledge and values into these girls? And then our parents, they're not helping. Exposing a young child into early marriage, what will that lead? Deeper poverty for that child. Her self-esteem has been crushed. So what do? We're here today speaking about empowering, speaking about equality for a sustainable growth. What should we do? What are we meant to do in order to take these children off the streets and channel those potentials, those great minds, into achieving full potentials? What should we do? Okay. First and foremost, I would like to say it must be encouraged in all communities across the nation. No matter how little, let's find a way. I remember during the lockdown, and children in the cities had the opportunities to be educated remotely. There were so many challenges being faced in the remote areas, in those local communities. Challenges. How do they even get those equipments to them? It poses a problem. So, we need to get education to those communities. Let's educate both the adults and the children. Let's educate the parents as well. And then let's empower these girls through capacity building. Let's create more opportunities for capacity building and training, empowering these girls. They could be hairdressers, fashion designers. I know there are many organizations that are also coming out to have some, but it's not enough. More could be achieved. So let's get them, let's bring them, take them off the streets, put them in these places, let them be empowered. They can engage in makeup artistry. It doesn't have to be the white collar all the time. Let them get to do things with their hands. Let them be trained. And then to the government, let them formulate, policies that will be gender equitable, that will accommodate both the boy child and the girl child, because no girl child should go uneducated. No girl child should go uneducated. And then, like it was read on my profile, establishment of the girl club, school-based clubs in our schools that encourage them. While I was at Federal Government, college ignorantly. I championed, and I think there's one of my colleagues on the call. We championed that, the Girl Education Club, Girl Education Movement, because we felt and we saw that the girls were frightened to express themselves in the classroom among the boys. And we felt we needed to boost their self-esteem by having this club being established, although it came from the Federal Ministry of Education. But we took it upon ourselves that we want to be part of this, we want to encourage and see these girls attain their full potentials. So we started the club. We keep educating, we keep encouraging, and their self-esteem, started growing. So we need to have more of this schools, not just the unity schools. In every school, let's see that we have these clubs that will push these girls to want to explore and attain their full potentials. And leadership training for girls should also be encouraged. There's so many things we can actually do to ensure that the girl child feels wanted, feels included, and she now looks at herself as that one person that can attain and achieve whatever she says I have to do. There are women that are succeeding today. There are very notable women that are succeeding today. The likes of Okonjo Iweala, the likes of Obieze Ekwesili, We have so many of them like that. Like you and I, anyways. We are also succeeding. So we have these women that are succeeding. But what is the driving force? They didn't wait. They didn't to achieve their potential state. They didn't wait for any man to validate them to actually excel. They were driven by passion. They were driven by determination. Like I am also determined. I must achieve my full potential. And you too should have the same mindset. So you don't have to be an Okonjo Iweala, you don't have to be an Obieze Ekwesili, you don't have to be a Dora Huili to make your impact. You can be you to make that impact. You can be yourself to make that impact. It all begins with taking baby steps to start. Start doing something. Let's really break this bias from the minds of the. Let's bring them to the forefront in the scheme of things. We are not saying we want to take over men. So please, all the men in this house, please don't crucify us. All we're saying is that give the girl child a chance to attain her full potentials. Okay, so as an educator, in my school, there is no gender bias. There is no bias. There is no discrimination. My girls are trained to be self-driven, self-motivated, and they are very creative. Everybody needs to be educated to allow, when they are educated, they have a renewed mindset that the woman also has her rights. We are equal. So don't say that because my husband did not allow. The women, we believe in ourselves. So we say, support us when we decide that this is what we want to do, this is where we want to go. The girl that does not believe in herself needs education, which is what we're saying. Educate the girl child. Give them that opportunity. The parents in the home should, especially the ones that are not enlightened, they should receive education. Let them be enlightened to know that because she is female does not mean she is weak. Because she is female does not mean the boy cannot come and also do chores. there should be that level playing ground from the home. Charity begins at home. Let's educate them from the home. Because whatever you give a child at home, the education the child receives from home, from birth to the time that child is adult, goes a long way. That is the fundamental education for that child. So she has it in her head. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to come out. I'm not supposed to. My brother is the one because he's in me. So everybody needs this education. Everybody needs the enlightenment that the girl should be given a voice.
So, sorry,
we may not have.
Can I say something to what the police officer said as well?
Okay. Okay.
You know, when we talk about gender equality, a lot of times it appears like it's men versus women. But I think what we're really focusing on today is reorientation of the societal mindsets. We are saying we need to educate ourselves, both male and female, to understand that anything that we're doing consciously or subconsciously that is relegating whether male or female in whatever situation should be addressed. For instance, when I do some things, they'll say, oh, a woman like a man. You're not supposed to say that. Yes. I'm a woman and I do not desire to be a man. I'm happy to be a woman. And I'm sure the men are happy to be men. So the society needs to come to terms with the fact God made them male and female from the beginning. We are not God. He is. He had a reason for doing so. We are human and women, equal access, equal platform, equal opportunity. I'm not even calling on government. I'm calling on parents. I'm calling on parents. Because if we can make every home, if my father and mother did what they were supposed to do, all the children would have equal access. So we can blame the senators and the legislators all we can. What are we doing at home?
Mrs. Johnson, you
then
said my
from
mind.
your own sphere, the neighbor, what are you doing to support? Are you shutting your eyes to violence, to those indiscriminations? That's what I'm saying. It's not even the fault of men, because they themselves were born into these wrong.
Yes.
The other speaker said our mom was given a chance that our siblings were not given, and it affected them.
Yeah.
The same way. So if it's the boys that are given chance, they would have the edge. If it's the girls, they would have the edge. Give equal chance, and everybody will be fine.
Yes.
So all of us here today, we should hold ourselves accountable. That now we have a new mandate to ensure that everywhere we go, we would eradicate inequity and give both the boy and the girl child an equal opportunity.
Mrs. Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of people are raising their hands. Victor Agada, are you all right with the answers we're giving to? By the way,
very
thank
much
you, Antonia.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm very much okay with them.
Okay,
because,
thank you.
From what Ms. Antonia and Mrs. Johnson just said, I don't think we need gender equality or for us to instill moral standards into our seats. It's the fault of the male as well as the fault of the female. So I don't care if they are uncles, aunties, mothers, fathers, whatever they are. We're all humans. We're all humans, and we should just learn that this is our duty. It's a point of duty to all humanity to give a level playing ground to everybody and make our system work. That's just my point. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Thank you, Antonia, for that. For that presentation that actually got to the grassroots. And I also want to say thank you to to Mrs. Johnson because she buttressed the fact that families should be held accountable. I support you 100%. And also, I want to also join Antonia to say that every one of us is accountable. We should go to the grassroots, speak to your neighbor, speak to the next person, speak to people in the office, speak to anywhere you are. Let us get this reorientation that everybody should be given same opportunity. Everybody, both females, both girls. And from the analysis Antonia did on the number of out of school children and all that, and the number of girls that are out of school and all that is overwhelming. And you know what we're going to have? We are going to have a much outburst of what's it called? Of population. Because some of these girls who are out of school, the next thing they do, they get pregnant, they have children here and there, and these children also will be out of school. And because our parents are not even interested in what these children are doing. You know, you see the children, they are on social media, they are doing one thing or the other, and they are just engaged in all those things, and they engaged in all sorts of ills and all that. So what we should expect, if we are not careful, is that we're going to have huge population of children that have no bearing. They don't have the family background education. They don't have the societal education. They don't have anywhere, and then we have them all over the place. So family is very important in this. We should give everybody the right from the home to the society. Let's stop blaming governments for it for once. Let's stop blaming government always. Let's stop blaming government always. If Mrs. Johnson was blaming government, she wouldn't have gone to school. Yeah. She wouldn't have gone to school. So let's take this, let's take it up. And it's a good thing we are discussing this. Let's just not talk, let's take action. There are different groups, you know, looking at empowering girls, women, and all that. Let's take action. Let's go to the community. Let's go to the grassroots. Please, let's stop being in Lagos and Abuja to do this thing. Let's go to the communities. Because most of these foundations, they are either in Lagos or Abuja. What of the villages? Thank you so much. Don't mind me, I've been enjoying this conversation. It's very interesting, and I'm taking a lot home, and I'm taking a lot to my community, to my environment, to my family, to my children. Thank you so much. I was trying to see if the commissioner, she has been calling them. I've been on phone. They've been calling me on phone, but I couldn't pick up. I'm sure there's something somewhere they are doing that she has not been able. They have not been able to come in to join us. And I want to know if Mariam Aliko Mohammed is still around. Are you still around, Mariam Aliko? Okay, if she's not around, and I'm so sorry, Dr. Mrs. Sarah Olubi could not join this conversation. She was actually out of town, but she could not join. Thank you so much for how far we've gone. And I want to ask, if you still have questions, please ask. If you still have questions, ask now. You can raise your hand, or you can type Chioma. I can see Chioma Tony Durako. Chioma, you want to ask a question?
I'd want to say something.
Okay, let me see if I can unmute Chioma so that she can ask her question. Her hand has been up. Chioma, you want to ask a question?
I want to say something, a contribution.
Okay.
Thank you very much for organizing a speech or a conference, virtual conference such as this. But I would like to come in from my own point of view, that each time people talk about gender and all that, they relegate the male gender to the background. We're always looking at gender from the point of view of the girl child, the girl child, the girl child. That's not what it should be all about. We should be able to say to ourselves, train the child from the home. And what do I mean by the child? A combination of male and female. The boys should be made to do the chores of girls and the girls the chores of boys, so that they don't start feeling unequal in any way. And if you raise your children basically from the homes to know that, look, I can do this, I should be able to do this, and teach the boys empathy, we will have a society that is better off than just going on and screaming out about, oh, the girl is being harassed, the girl is being killed, the girl is done this too and that too. But if we raise children from the onset, the boys, knowing that, look, this wife I'm going to marry is like my sister, I should treat her like I would treat my own sister. And we train the boys to know that, look, you should be able to be helpful at home, helpful in society, and we look at them if they're going the other way, not doing things the right way. We should be able to call them from the onset and say, look, calm down, this way, that way. That's not how to do things. But when we leave them and say, oh, he's a boy, or man, it's a man's world, we're not doing them a favor at all. So we should be able, as parents, to raise our boys well. Raise them to know that they should be responsible citizens of our nation. That way they grow into responsible men in the society. We have overflogged this girl-child thing for too long. And so we're leaving out the boys. We're not doing well by them. The home, we're losing out. That's what I think. So let's not keep flogging the girl-child issue. Let's look at the boy-child, raise him properly, tell him the way to go, and I surely tell you, he won't depart from it. That's my take. Thank you.
We've been celebrating Women's Day. We've been talking about the girl child, empowering women, empowering girls. And this worry gives us so much worries. You walk on the streets, you see boys all over the place out of school. Some are in hotels, some are doing all this Yahoo things, and nobody ever talks about the boy child. Nobody ever talks about the equality, also according equality to the boy child. We always focus on the female gender and all that and fighting for the equality. I have not heard of a foundation that's been raised up for the boys to also fight for their own equality, because a number of boys are out of school and they are all over the place causing becoming nuisance and all that in the environment. I don't know what Lagos State is doing towards this. The Ministry of Education is also doing towards them. Yeah. Also empowering the boys and fighting for their own equality in education.
I will start from the last question you asked. Lagos State is known for excellence, and that is why we are being referred to as the center of excellence. The boy child in Lagos State is given equal attention as that of the girl child. There is an initiative by the office of the wife of the governor, Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, called the Boy Child Initiative. And the idea behind this is because in Lagos State we discovered that the boy child is being neglected in many contexts, and you find most of them on the streets as area boys, as urchins, or what we call. And we saw that this boy child have been neglected. So Lagos State government took up the initiative and launched the initiative of the boy child under the auspices of the First Lady. It is not only in the office of the First Lady, but all relevant agencies are incorporated. Ministry of Education is part of it. The Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, they are part of the program. Office of Civic Engagement, Ministry of Health, all ministry departments and agencies that are concerned with the boy child are also stakeholders in this initiative. And it is about bringing our boy child that is of school age back to school, thereby reducing the number of out-of-school children, bringing them back to be engaged in useful activities instead of them being engaged in vices such as yahoo, gambling and others. So you see that Lagos State is in the lead when it comes to that initiative in Nigeria. And again, you asked earlier that so many attention is being given to the girl child. There is a popular saying that train a girl child and you train the whole nation. If you train a boy child, you might be training just a family. Though the girl child have a critical role to play in molding the society, but at the same time, Lagos State is equally concerned about the boy child, because in Lagos we practice inclusive education irrespective of gender, religion, and every other thing. When we look at the population of students in Lagos State, the gender parity index gives us an indication that the male child attendance or enrollment in school with that of the female is almost at par. And yes, I know you will do a wow, because it is only in Lagos State that you will see such a result. In other parts of Nigeria, the girl child is being marginalized. But like I said earlier on, we practice inclusive education, irrespective of your gender, your age, your color, your religion, or your tribe. All children have equal opportunity to education in Lagos State.
If you have been here, there was at some point we're saying that we should give this opportunity to both girls and boys, not just the girls. It's just unfortunate that I've not seen any day for celebrating men or whatever. But we have said here that both girls and boys should be treated equally and given same opportunities to explore their world and all that. So we're not just saying the girl's child should be given. We also say, but we notice that it's in record that the people that suffer most of this negligence are the girls. The girls are all innate in being relegated to the ground, to the back and all that, and not allowing to go to school, asking them to marry and all that. But I know that there are some cultures where the young boys are asked to get married. I have seen a young boy of 15 years old, who has a wife and children. I was like, wow, how could this? That means the wife should be like 10 years or 12 years. So we're also asking that both girls and boys be given opportunities to education and all that, and empowerment too. Thank you so much, Choma, for that contribution. I'm still asking Buhari Muazu. Buhari Muazu, you want to say something? Hello, Buhari, you want to say something? I don't know if anybody still has any question.
I do.
Okay.
I do. Victor does.
Are you saying something? Are you asking questions?
Yes. Mr. Victor is saying something.
Okay, is it Mr. Victor saying something? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to clear up a point about who is being relegated into the inequality ratio and all that. Where you have female hawkers, you also have a whole lot of sectors where boys are being maltreated and not being sent to schools. The shoe shiners or shoe cobblers are not girls. The wheelbarrow pushers are not girls. The mechanics and all those other menial jobs and dirty job stuff, they're not relegated to females alone. But when you educate the men more and get married, it's on them to train or treat their wives properly and then train their kids appropriately. In my house, I don't want to know what your gender is. You fill up bottles, you do dishes, you sweep, you be with your mom in the kitchen, you have things done. Are you my child? Yes, this is your duty. But you find homes where you find fathers telling their female, their daughters for them to come back inside. They are not boys. They're not allowed to play with boys. There are certain things they are not allowed to do. And then you expect those people to grow up and teach their children what exactly. So it's on us to train the boys properly and understand the male gender. Try not to. It's on us it's on us, all of us, male, females alike, to re-strategize rather than lament and to antagonize the male gender for not allowing them do stuff and all that. Let's think it through. Because as long as there are those that remember what was, there will always be those that are unable to accept what can be, and they will always resist. They will always resist. Just my take. And let me say, this action you're taking, Educare Magazine, thank you very much. But I'd like to say this to all of us. Faith, like many other things, is actuated by work. Don't just sit, have Zoom meetings, or like you rightly said, sit in Abuja and Lagos and make this thing work. But I'll tell you this also, since those are the centers that converge people from different ethnicity and walks of life in Nigeria, when your actions, most especially women, when your actions show and prove that you'll be able to handle some certain things, the world will give it to you. Forget the Nigerian mentality, forget the African mentality, forget whatever you think. The world in itself would give it to you. These things are more spiritual than physical. More spiritual, I'll tell you. But if you do not tell the universe what you need, if you do not give it, then you shall never have it. So if we say we want to have these actions done, it should be by our works. It should be by our works, not just by talking and then coming in, year out, having Women's Day, Mother's Day, International Women's Day, Catholic Church Women's Day, we're doing Pentecostal stuff. No, that's not the point. And then we end up saying there's just a day for fathers, not even men. One day in the whole of the 365 days where we are celebrating Father's Day. That eventually came up in 2019. Father's Day. You get? So what are we telling the fathers? You really don't matter. Or the world has already antagonized you, or you're in one sector. They just look at you as brutes and all that. Let's make the system work. It's on all of us. I'll do my beats from my police circle. People should do theirs from the teaching circle. Fathers, we have fathers in the mechanics segment. Let ladies go into it. Plumbing, electrical engineers and all that. It's on all of us though. So I think I'm done. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for these contributions and some of the questions you've asked. Actually, we have our obligations to both boys and girls, because I think there was a question we asked. Somebody made a mention of if you're giving, for example, a woman is giving something, a job to do or a position to hold, and the husband says no and all that. But then, if we have the right orientation from home for the children, both males and females, we won't have such issues. So the call is for us to go out there, educate both boys and girls. And when we do that, when they have the education and the orientation that we are all equal, then we'll have issues of having some percentages voted for women in the parliament and all that, and women not allowing to take political positions and all that. Thank you so much. I'm still asking Buhari Muazu. You have a question? Your hand has been off for forever. Otherwise, if you don't have any question, I want to ask. I want us to start rounding up this conversation, and I want to ask Mrs. Fumi Johnson to come back and give us some parting words we'll go with today. Mrs. Fumi, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, please. Can you give us parting words we can go home with? Thank you.
All right. I appreciate this opportunity to say something that all of us will go home with. I'd like to say that basically women are our own undoing. When you talk about widowhood practices, they are stipulated in society, but who carries them out and makes sure that their fellow woman suffers? It is the woman. It is not the men who come to implement these things. And so if we really need to have a good society, let the women come together, do things right by their sons, by their daughters, and make our society a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. God bless. Is Antonia still available? Antonia, are you still around? Okay, yes, please. Can you give us some parting words we can go home with today?
Okay, so I would just want to reiterate
keep educating, keep reorientating every single one, every single citizen should wake up. It's a clarion call to all for us to save our nation, for us to save the society. So the time is now. Let's do the needful so that the nation can be a better place for you and I. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keep educating, keep reorienting so that the nation can be a better place. I want to thank everybody that attended. We intended to do some award giving, but we are suspending, postponing it to a future date that we will communicate to every one of us. This meeting was actually supposed to hold physically, but there were some logistical issues. We held it today virtually. But when the time comes, we will also inform you for the awards. We have awards for outstanding women who are encouraging, who are empowering, who are also educating and reorienting people on this gender equality. And when the time comes, like I said, we'll get back to every one of us. I want to hold it physically. Normally we hold it physically. We have students, we have two girls, we have boys attending so that they will also listen and understand some things from this meeting. But today we have it virtually, and like I said, I will communicate to us when we have the physical meeting again. It may not just be talking about Women's Day, but we are going to look at women people in education who are impacting lives at their various locations. And once again, I want to thank you so much for coming, especially our speakers, those who contributed, those who listened, those who are going home with one thing or the other to educate and reorient their environment and families. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. My name is still Orevan, Educare Magazine. God bless you. See you some other time. Please, if you want the this program, just put your email address on the chat box. We are going to send you the program after editing it. Thank you so much for coming. You do have a good day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Mrs. Omi Johnson. So we have a YouTube channel. You can also go there and watch it. It's Educare Magazine on YouTube.